Hey friends, welcome back to Homeschoolology. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4. I have an upcoming 9th grader, 5th grader, 1st grader, and kindergartner. And on this channel, I usually share secular homeschooling with you, but I like to also share motherhood and our lives in general and everything in between. So if that interests you, I hope you'll stick around. Today's video, I'm going to be doing an unboxing from Rainbow Resources. So I have this box here. It's quite heavy. And I'm going to be opening this for you guys to show you what I have in here. This is for all of my kiddos, so 9th, 5th, 1st, and kindergarten, but also I have a few things in here for my niece who will be in 4th grade. So let's dive in. Alright, I will say this box got slightly damp sitting on my front doorstep. Unfortunately, we don't have an overhang, so sometimes things get damp, but because it had the paper on top, everything in here seems to be fine. So I really appreciate that they took care in the packaging, so things like that, you know. So first up, we have the skill sharpeners from geography 4th grade. This is for my niece. I don't currently use the skill sharpeners for my children, but I have in the past, and I love the skill sharpeners. So they have them for everything, math, science, and I feel there was a time in our life I had a newborn baby and I was homeschooling 2 kiddos. I think it was when I was homeschooling 2 kids, had a toddler and a newborn, and you know, life was nuts. And my girls just liked doing workbooks at the time, and so we just had all the skill sharpeners, and that's what we did for, it wasn't quite the whole year, but it was most of the year, 1 year, because that's what we could accomplish. And hey, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But I love these. You can get these as a PDF over on the Evan Moore website, and so it's Evan, M-O-O-R, so more. But you can see they're really colorful. They have lots of pictures and lots of different skills in it, like reading. You read a passage, answer questions. They have word searches, vocabulary, all kinds of different things. The science ones, I think, if I remember correctly, also had like little activities that you could choose to do if you wanted to. So I really love these skill builders, especially if you're looking for something that's like quick and easy, or you know, you have a busy schedule and you just need something to just get a subject done. These I highly recommend. Alright, next up is Word Roots Level 1. My oldest, both my girls have been using the beginner level. We were actually using it for 2 years. The first year we were doing just like one section a week together as a group. I was just using a book and we were doing it like on a whiteboard, which worked fine. But my kiddos really enjoyed it, and so I ended up just picking up a second workbook for my other daughter, and they started at the beginning again this year and just have been writing in it. Obviously, my older daughter is progressing much further than my younger daughter, so I only have one of these because my older daughter is ready to move into this one. This is for grades 5 through 12, so it says 5 to 12 plus. So these can be started at any grade level. I think the beginning one is either 4 or 5, if I remember correctly. So highly recommend those. My kids love them. They're super like simple, just workbook pages. Well, that one's a little bit less simple. I don't know if y'all can hear that thunder, but it's just kind of like fill in the blank, and it teaches like suffixes, prefixes, I did that wrong, suffixes, prefixes, and root words, which is just a really great way, especially for like in the future learning, like if they're ever going to take any standardized test, like understanding those parts of words can be really helpful when they're learning vocabulary. Do you need to sit by Mama?
I'm scared.
Yeah, it's just thunder. Can thunder hurt you?
No, we did hate thunder.
I know. Alright, next up is Critical Thinking Detective Beginner. This is grades 3 through 12 plus, so it's one of those. Both of these are from the Critical Thinking Co. Really like the Critical Thinking Co. So like for workbook wise, I trust Thinking Co. Critical Thinking Co. and Evan Moore, like those are my go-tos for workbooks because they really are like top-notch, stellar, and my kids don't seem to get that bored with them. But this one is, what they do is they read a section and then they answer some questions on it, and it's like they're being a detective, like they're solving a case, which most kids love. And so I picked those up for my oldest and my 5th grader and my niece. So I got 3 copies of it because I think they'll all enjoy that. We're going to do it 1 time a week. So they're really small. So that should carry us through most of the time. Let's see, how many lessons are there? So there are 12 lessons in here, and they're going to do 1 a week. So it's only going to take them, you know, less than half the year, but that's okay. Maybe we don't get to it every week. Okay, next up is, this one is new to me. So I will be doing a flip through on it. I have 2 levels in here, one for my niece and one for my older daughter. So I'll be sharing both levels. Like I'll do 2 different videos for you guys. But this one I just discovered on Rainbow Resources actually, and it's called Vocabulate. And so basically it's like a vocabulary workbook. And it's very similar to the critical thinking where they read a passage and then they have some activities. So write the definition, matching, this must be the teacher's guide because it has the answers. Matching, synonyms, find multiple meanings, a couple different other activities. And then it just repeats that over and over and over again. So this one is for my niece. This is the student guide. The teacher guide. Let me find the student guide. Hold on. Okay, so this is the student book, and obviously it looks the same on the inside. So, but this one I was scheduled 2 days a week for my niece. I'm not homeschooling my niece. I'm just setting up her curriculum plan for my sister and my niece. But that I scheduled for 2 days a week. So if she finishes it in the year, if not, you know, great. If not, she'll just keep doing it next year. So I also, like I said, I also bought the level for my 9th grader, which is level I. I did get the teacher guide and the student workbook. So of course, like I said, I'm going to be doing a video on these to share with you, you know, my initial thoughts. And then as the year goes on, what we think about it. So this one is the Critical Thinking Detective Vocabulary. So if you haven't noticed, there is a vocabulary trend this year. My oldest, I think, has a really good grasp on like grammar, and so instead of focusing on a lot on grammar, of course we're going to be including it because we're using Brave Writer Literature Guides and it's in there, but instead of having such a heavy focus on grammar, we're going to focus on vocabulary this year. She's only going to be doing these, you know, like a couple times a week, and might not even do all of them. Like, you know, I said that the Critical Thinking Detective was 12 weeks. This one is also 12 weeks, so she'll probably only do one of those books at a time. And I'm going to let her choose whether she bounces back and forth or does one book and then does the next book. And then the Vocabulate, there's a lot of exercises per thing, so I don't know if we're going to like pick and choose which exercises we're going to do, or she's just going to do, you know, maybe that week, the week she does that book, she'll just 2 lessons or something like that. I haven't figured that out yet. So as soon as I do, I'll let you know, of course. We have sequential spelling, level 6. So this is for my 9th grader. This has just been working really well for us. And one of my complaints was that it didn't have rules in the back, but in book 3, there were some rules in the back, but here in book 6, there aren't again. So while I understand that like learning the spelling rules, they don't apply to everything, you don't necessarily need to learn them. It's nice to have them, but you can get them from other resources. And when I find a good one, I'll let you guys know. I just haven't found a great one yet. So Instagram has been probably the best one as far as like reels showing you, you know, trends in spelling has been, I've learned a lot of things on Instagram. So, but that is for my 6th grader, or my 9th grader. Golly. And we're only going to be doing spelling 2 times a week this year. So the way it's laid out, there is 180 lessons in here. My kids just don't need that much. So the way it's laid out is like, this is the singular, and then this is the plural, and then this is like the past tense, and then this is like ing. Usually it follows kind of that pattern. So what I usually do is combine 2 days, and I kind of just jump back and forth, choosing whichever one I think might challenge her a little bit more. And then if I feel like, you know, maybe she knows how to spell a word, I might skip it. But you don't want to skip too many, because it's like what it's teaching is like the pattern of spelling. So you don't kind of want to skip too many, but I do kind of bounce back and forth, because she doesn't need to do one day spelling the singular form and then the next day spelling the plural form. Like, she just doesn't need that. So that's how I've been using that, so we can move through it a little bit more quickly than, because we can't do it every day. She hates doing it every day. We need to do it less days. I also got the level 4 of sequential spelling for my niece. Okay, next up is the Zahner-Bloser handwriting. I got 2 copies of the student workbook for 2C. So Ashley over at Gathering and Granted commented on one of my things when I said I was going to use this, and she said if your kids haven't done any cursive, you might want to start with 2C, regardless of what grade level they're in. So that's why I went ahead and picked up the 2C. And then I don't know if my niece has done any cursive or not. I'm assuming not. She's been in and out of public school, and so I'm assuming she hasn't. So I just went ahead and got this one too. But if she needs to go faster through it or something. But this one starts by reviewing manuscript. So here's the review of manuscript, which I thought would be good for my kids. Sometimes they make letters kind of crazy, but I haven't been worried about it, because like really doesn't matter. But it reviews manuscript, and then it jumps into teaching cursive later on in the book. So my middle daughter, my future 5th grader, is the one that's interested in cursive. So I picked that up for her. And then next up, holy moly, this thing's huge. Look at the size of this thing. This is Math with Confidence, grade 1, the instructor manual. Holy moly. Okay, so we've done Math with Confidence for kindergarten. The book was not this giant, but I kind of know the pattern here. I will, of course, be doing like not a review yet, but like a first look into that curriculum. I got that, and I got this one is much bigger than last year's workbook. I got 2 of the workbooks. My daughter, if you haven't been around at all, my daughter, who will be in kindergarten, I don't normally do pre-K with my kiddos. I believe in child-led learning, kind of Montessori style, like letting my kids kind of learn about the world around them. You know, nature as much as possible. However, we live in Florida, and it's like a sauna out there, so we don't get outside as much as I would like to. But like just kind of learning through experience for the younger ages. And we don't start formally schooling until kindergarten. That has been the case with my older 3, but my youngest was just so excited and ready to start learning. She wanted to be at the table with us every time we did school, and so I went ahead and started her in like a pre-K level. I did not officially register her as a homeschooled student, because in the state of Florida, you don't do that until kindergarten. So she wasn't like officially homeschooling, but she came along for a lot of it. And she kind of kept up with my son for quite a bit of it. I didn't have the same kind of like standard for her, you know, like I wasn't expecting her to get everything right before moving on kind of thing. But in math, she's like really keeping up. I think my son finally started to pull away towards the end of our curriculum, you know, doing our curriculum for the last year. And so he kind of started to pull away, but she's already like halfway through the book. And for the most part has a pretty decent understanding of that stuff, because it's things like counting and patterns and that kind of stuff. So she can count to 20 better than my son can. So I was debating on whether or not to go back and just start kindergarten over, or go ahead and get her the 1st grade. She's not done. Neither is my son, technically. We'll be starting with him finishing his kindergarten book, but she's a little bit further behind him, and so I think she's going to start going a little bit slower than he is. And so I went ahead and picked it up just because I wanted it here for when she was ready, but she probably will start this by the time her kindergarten year is over. So that's why I want 2 copies of that. And that is the end of the box. That is what I picked up. That was not PDF curriculum. Every other curriculum piece that I am using, I either already had or is a PDF or is an online curriculum, minus Denison, which is online, but also has some things, which that's coming later. I'm going to do a whole thing on that. So that shipped, and when that comes in, I think I have all of my curriculum pieces for next year. So, and I've been working on printing everything out. So here's a stack of things I've been printing and binding. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. If you have any questions about any of these things, if you'd like to see a more in-depth review on any of these things, or like a more in-depth look inside, any questions about why I chose these things that I didn't talk about here, have you tried any of these? It's super helpful to other people to be able to hear, you know, multiple reviews. If you tried these and liked them, share it. If you tried these and didn't like them, share it, please, down in the comments. Let's chat about it. While you're down there, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget, you can always chat with me over on Instagram at Homeschoolology, or follow our day-to-day journey over there. I'm trying to get better about sharing over there more often. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for me today. So I hope you will come back and chat with me again real soon, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.